See signs of hope now that we have ordinals that are starting to kind of bring back a culture of actually doing things that it feels like I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that are I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that are I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that are I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that are I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that are I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that I definitely see signs of hope now that we have ordinals that I definitely see signs of hope now that we have see signs of hope.
Oh, welcome back. So that was just to open the show, just showing the Audional Sequencer there, which I was going to give a bit of a lesson on last week, but then we got involved in a in a very cool conversation about Web3 data storage solutions and stuff and things like that. So I thought this week that I would sort of roll it back and actually go right into the sequencer for anyone who is interested in playing around with Web3 music, because this is really very much a novel idea, and it's free to play with, it's free to create. It's, you know, there's no friction here to stop people from going and enjoying what can be done in this production environment. There's also nothing to stop you from inscribing your own pieces of audio on chain and using them to create new songs, but there's plenty there to play with. This is all just the beginning of new things. But so tonight I'm just going to go through the sequencer just to show you, because obviously I've just built this to my own kind of spec, so I'll go through and try and show you as much as I can, just so that anyone, even a beginner, can just get started with this. This is a really simple system. I've built it so that it's you know, super easy to use, super easy to find audio on the chain and import it, and then start to reshape it the way that I've built the sequencer for remixing. It's very much sort of click and play. It's fairly simple. I'll go through it, but you know, being able to pull together songs or remixes or reorder audio is really very simple for anyone to do with this. And then at the other end of that is the engine that you can then use to inscribe the songs that you make. So rather than these songs now costing hundreds or even thousands to put the audio on chain, you can use these elements that you carve out of existing on-chain audio to create new songs that are very much songs. Some higher quality audio than others, depending on the audio that you work with. This isn't just restricted to actual audio files either. There is audio. There's also the Audional style of audio, which is putting audio into JSON text files to make them easier to index, and adding some kind of powers to the little audio samples. But then there's also synth modules. You know, there's also things like this that we can use to generate oscillators, to create synths that you can then record, you know, the very basic, like the MIDI elements of a bass line, a loop or whatever, and then that can also be incorporated into an Audional composition, which you can then inscribe into a song, which is just a matter of a few kilobytes. Forget megabytes, forget, you know, the size of WAV files. You can even use WAV file elements in these songs, but the songs themselves are just little pieces of text that call together all of these other audio samples and carvings and alterations of samples that you create during this process into new songs. So let's get started anyway. I'll just go and have a look at the sequencer here. So this one, when the sequencer first loads, if I load it again here, so if you go, you know, load up audionals.com, this is how the page will load. I've made the load button flash. I probably should make that a better color than red, but it's flashing to try and get people to just click on it, because if you click here, if you've got nothing to add here, you can, there is a load from JSON file here, which we'll get to when you're saving files up here with the save button. You can then instantly go and load those files later on, or send them to a friend who can then instantly load those files to work on your current composition. But below that, I've got 3 presets, and I've got more presets which I can show you tonight. I just haven't sort of managed to hook them into the actual sequencer into this menu yet, but I will do that soon. But there's a couple. That one that I played to start with is you know, this metallic one. You just click load, and that just loads up the song.
I definitely
and there
see.
You are. You can click through the different sequences by using these previous and next sequence buttons, so you can see the sequences as I'm building them up through 16 sequences. They start at 0, so it goes from 0 to 15. But so you can click through all those sequences, but of course this just is a template. You can go in and change any of these aspects as you're going. You can just decide to you know, go in and reselect things as you see fit.
Thank you, Satoshi, wherever you are.
So you can go in straight away and just start playing around with this. You don't have to do anything other than click. here's a, you can audition what you're listening to by pressing that button there, and you can, so this is just a very small hit here, but you can see whatever instrument you're playing with, and you can start to, so let's play with the hat here, and we could put in a new hats pattern just by clicking on every second note. So this would be eighths that we're hitting the hat at here. So, and again, when you go into these samples, that hats 3, this is the Web 3 way of doing things. That is coming from an on-chain sample here. Oh. So this is an inscription. I'm going to update this window here so it will show the inscription, but this is literally being read from the chain. Again, if I copy there's an ordinal ID which I can copy, and I can then paste that into here. I think this should work. Yeah, there you go. So that's loaded up. So this is what we're playing with here. It's this sample here. So all I've done is I've taken this sample, and I've said I really want those hats. So I just use the trimmer here. This is the Ordinal trim window. So if you just press that blue T button on any channel, this will bring you into the sample window where you can then trim it down to select the actual bit of audio that you want. Obviously this is a very short sample, but for some much longer samples, like some of the many historical speeches that are online, you can go right through that entire several minutes of audio and select a specific word or a specific sound, which you then want to re-sample into a new piece of music. So here, so now you can see that even though that sample is still ultimately where this is being read from, this is still being read directly from the chain. Every time this song file is executed, that original hats part of this original sample is being read and played. It's being played as an entirely new, set of hats in a new song, where the attribution aspect of this is kind of written into the DNA of this song. Because I'm accessing this actual file, this file itself exists on a URL. That URL has an NFT, if you will, that exists in someone's wallet. So I now have an owner of a sample who I can attribute with, owning the sample. How that gets divided up, that's for the sort of regulators of the future. But straight away we have this, this amazingly high level, detailed proof of where every sample came from. Because now that I have trimmed this sample down to these hats, if someone else decides they like my hats, they again could take an audio buffer. It's called an audio context, which is the original sample then running through whatever it's doing here. I'm creating an audio context which now is this, but or I'm creating an audio buffer which is this piece of hats, but part of the audio context is this original file. And anyone who takes my hats and then decides to further trim it down so they're just using just the second hat, they also are creating another audio context which already includes all previous audio context into creating this new audio buffer. And you can't get away from that. Anywhere in the chain, wherever anyone forks these sounds, even through into new processing, and then as long as they are then being reformed in this way, via the sequencer like this, then that attribution is always going to be written in there. You'll always be able to go into every single sample and see what part of what you're listening to here. And then that means that people who are writing songs can either use some of these many samples that exist on chain already, or they can inscribe their own samples to get sort of credit both for being the composer as well as the sample owner. Although obviously that is something that's very expensive now. It's inscribing audio on the chain is not cheap. Even when I inscribed this mellophonic snare, which was it's a good sounding snare. You can hear a little bit of it was taken out of a song, so it's not just a pure snare, but it's still a nice I think it's a WAV file, so it's a high quality audio, and you can really hear it when you pull it into against some of these other Web3 songs that have had the bit rates reduced. You can really hear that top end stuff is where it suffers, but some of the early stuff that was put on chain, the bass is beautiful, so we can pull that back out again and reformat it, and again, you as the person who extracts that sound, this is almost like the new sample CD era of doing this. Let me show you what I mean here. So I think I've got a file. Let me just see if this is here. So if I hit load from, so click the load button, load from JSON, and what have I got here? I've got one. So I try this Bitcoin test. Okay, so I have to. Yeah, there's a little bit of a bug there that it had those. Okay, so I think this was me going through what I could find, and I'd love to go through all the audio files on chain and kind of transcribe them. That would be the next thing to do, is to sort of get some kind of database where we've got full transcriptions of every audio file that's there, so you kind of know, at least if you're looking for words or you're looking to form ideas through the use of words or through sounds. It'd be amazing to have a database where you can just kind of jump to these files straight away and pull them in. But anyway, I've gone through and found, these are all just the IDs of where they're pulling them from, but let's just look at this one. So if we copy the ordinal ID, jump in here.
In many cultures, pigs are symbols of wealth and fortune. As a Bitcoin pig, I guess you could say I'm living up to the stereotype.
Yeah, there's quite a few of these. I'm not sure exactly what these are. I mean, I'd be interested to know what they're all about. There's quite a lot of quite high quality audio about pigs. I'm assuming it's a collection of some sort, but they that mentions Bitcoin. So then we've got another one here. I guess let's go and play that from its source.
Are you aware of the first real-world transaction using Bitcoin? It was a meal fit for a king, 2 whole pizzas, and the price tag, a whopping 10,000 Bitcoins.
Yeah, so that's another one. So I went through some of these and I found the word Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
So yeah, this one's a whole song, and it was like I need to get to the point where you can zoom in on these, because that was kind of hard picking that one out. But anyway, what I've created here in this JSON file that I created here, and it is just let's have a look. Where is that file that I found? Just wondering what size it was. So that's it's 10 kilobytes. So that it's a small enough file for me just to send very, very quickly and easily to anybody. And this is an uncompressed file. The compressed format is around 100 times smaller. So it's something that can be sent to anybody. They can just recall it. That's what I've done. I've called this from my hard drive, but I will put this into the preset here. But I could inscribe that file as well. The compressed version of the file, it would only cost a couple of dollars really. And I could then inscribe that file, which then, say use the example of the one that was very long here. I can't remember which one it was now. But this one, for example, I can barely even see that now. Bitcoin. Just managed to find it in there. But so that work that I've put in there to sort of get that word out, that could be captured in this file. And then when someone decides, I'm going to use that that sound, that Bitcoin sound, they can come in here. They can just, so if I just open up a new version of the sequencer here, so they can come in here, they can find this one. Bitcoin. I've worked very hard to trim it down. They can then copy this ID, and they can then go back into here and they can load it. And now that should, oh no, I haven't checked on this. That, of course, I'm just loading the ID. I'm not loading the channel information. I'm not even sure if I've set this up to copy the channel coming soon. Yeah, I don't think I've got that working on this version yet. But so once you've, so anyway, I've copied, we've now copied this entire sample in here, but of course with the actual new copy channel settings, you'll be able to copy this item as is with its trim settings and any other effects that I might have put on it into your new version. So it's really as simple as that. And again, if I have inscribed this, and then we're talking about using something that I've inscribed, now I've kind of put my Bitcoin address into that sort of chain of processing, because there's the original sample holder, and then there's the first trim version, which we brought up here, and then there's in fact, sorry, so that trimmed version is now the version that you have now put into your you've inscribed this. So even though it's just part of the chain and people can use it, these trimmed versions that we see here would exist as a set of instructions that are recalled from your Bitcoin wallet. Your wallet is listed as the place where these trimmed versions reside. Anyone can use them. They're all still public property, but it's your wallet that signals being the person who did the work to put those there. And so in the future, when someone does decide to start making payments that acknowledge all these different Bitcoin addresses associated with the song, from the sample owner to sample trimmers to the composer to all these different plugins that might be used as well, that you're now part of that chain. That work is part of the chain. Again, should someone decide to use your work, someone else could go back to the original sample, pull that sample in, and then trim it themselves to get that point. And there's nothing to stop them doing that. But this is a very simplistic version of what's possible, because there'll be other effects and reverbs and different things that you can do. This idea of creating some really cool samples that other people want to use and that you are guaranteed to be attributed for is kind of cool. And it also works in the same way if someone just decides to copy what you've done, but to try to not attribute you, to go and look at what you've done, but then to go back and put those settings in themselves. If you have inscribed it, then this obviously acts as a timeline to suggest that this person, not only can we instantly identify that it's not using the original, but it is replicating the original, and that also is something that can then just be shown as part of the record, that this person was attempting to recreate this original resample of something on chain that someone has inscribed, but we can see that the original is this one. And actually, I think people would be wanting to use the original for the notoriety attached to using the actual sample. But so it's that simple. It's as simple as I just put this together so people could play them.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
So that is just a way that you can come in and just audition and go, okay, I'm looking for the word Bitcoin. Okay, here's a library that Jim's put together. There's 15 different Bitcoin samples here. As soon as I find the one I like, I can copy the channel settings into my own sequencer and I'm away. And I can do the same for kick drums, snare drums, all the rest of it. We can build sample libraries that, again, you can just put them onto the Discord and share them for free, which is kind of what I've been doing by putting them into the presets here. Or you can inscribe it before you share it. so that the work you've done is kind of, you know, part of that chain of attribution moving forwards. So I was just going to try one of those. I think is it Inscription 1400. I really love this. I love this. I love this one, but let's put it into. Let's pop it into here. So this is the 808. Very cool. But so about a minute in, I think it might be this bit here. He sort of breaks it down.
The bass drum.
Yeah. So the bass drum. So again, this is where I need to get in there and actually improve the UI here so that this is easier to do. So if we can just get one of those kick drums, I think that goes to, yeah, see, once we can zoom in, we can get rid of these clicks and we can make that a lot better. Yeah, it's hard. Oh, it's hard to get these just right. I don't even know if I've got the resolution here to get that one. You know what? I don't think I do I? Let's try and get this one. Any more luck here? That was better. Tiny click there. Again, I'll build something in here, I hope, to get rid of those little clicks. Just a little tiny fade or something at the end would be awesome. That's even worse. Okay, just have to go with that one. But so, okay, so we've isolated a kick there. So what we can do is then we can rename this channel. If you right click, I think I'm going to build a lot of right click stuff into the sequencer in the future. So you'll also be able to sort of right click on individual steps and sort of go through these same selections, load a new audio sample into a step with a new set of trims and new volume, maybe effects like reverse or all these sorts of things. You'll eventually have the resolution to do that on each step. But so we can just add a channel name here. So this will be 808 kick. And then we want to load the same ordinal into the next channel, because now we want to see if we can isolate the snare.
The claps.
So again, try my best with the tools at our disposal to get that clap out.
Claps.
That's a good one. If we can just get it on its own. Is that it there? Yes, definitely need to look at how to zoom in on these guys, because when you're dealing with smaller files, it's fine, but this resolution. Okay, I'm just going to go with that for now. So then we've got clap. So I'll rename this. And then I'm pretty sure there's another instrument that we can grab in here in this song. Let's have a look.
The claps. The snare. Hi-hats.
I mean, it's kind of all the instruments there, isn't it? But I don't know if we could get a little. So everything comes in here.
The snare.
I mean, that would be good if I could get that snare. Just kind of want one of them, really. Can I get? Good luck, I hear you say. That'll do for now. So then we write snare here. Snare. And then we could get probably some better. Oh look, and then we could get just a Bitcoin. So let's
Bitcoin.
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 Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
quite like that one. This one at the top here, Bitcoin. So let's just copy. Oh, again, we're not going to get the right. Yeah, we're not going to get the trim, are we? But we can see where it is there. Okay. So go in and we'll stick that in there as well. Load. So I think it was there. Was the Bitcoin? Is that right?
It's a bit.
Oh no, this one. So it's Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Goes to the end.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. So now we've got a kick, claps, snare. We've got the Bitcoin. We could go back in and maybe we'll go and hit load again. We'll go back into the Vitalik mix just to get an easy, like a hi-hat, for example. What's this hat in here? So yeah, let's grab this guy. Let's just rename him as well. So he's Bitcoin. And then we're going to stick the hat in here. But we also need to come on. We need to trim it to be a hat. There you go. So we've got a hat. Bass. Bass is one I haven't actually got into yet. I haven't really had a chance to look. Would love it if someone would go through all of them and pull out some cool bass notes. Yeah, let's leave it at this for now anyway. So look, if we then take, so we've got a kick, so we could just set up a 4 to the floor. See what this sounds like. I'd love to have buttons to just put these patterns in. I'll probably get to that. You can copy a... I took that out. At some point, you'll be able to just click copy the channel settings, and you'll be able to copy just these settings here. You can at the moment. This copy button here will copy an entire sequence. So if you have got, like if we just drew some things in here, and hit copy, and then we go to sequence 1, again it starts at sequence 0, and hit paste. We've now copied those settings into the next sequence. So that kind of saves, once you've written something kind of cool for this first loop, this first 4 bars, that's the easiest thing you can do, is then just copy, clone that sequence, go to the next sequence, you can go to the next one, and just keep pasting it, and then you can go back and edit those individual sequences to formulate the song more. So anyway, so yes, we've got our let's see what this sounds like, this kick. That click's going to be really annoying, isn't it? But yeah, again, that is something that I will address. It's something that needs to be built. Every time I'm building anything to work on the sequencer, I have to bear in mind that I need to add whatever logic I'm adding to the sequencer needs to be added to the engine that will be used to drive the songs. I've managed to get the size of the engine really so much smaller than I thought I would, which is amazing, and I'll get that inscribed quite soon. But of course, the more tricks I can get into the original engine, it will just mean I'll less reinscribing of the engine to add functionality later on. Ideally, functionality would be added in a modular way at some point, but for now I'm kind of trying to pack everything into a single engine, so it's just really simple for people to inscribe your own songs. The songs, like I said earlier on, they are around 1 or 2 kilobytes in terms of data, but then the actual players themselves are like 150 bytes. So that's, even with these crazy high fees we're looking at right now, that's still a production cost of around $1 or so per song, inscribed on the blockchain, playable forever, and distributable via Bitcoin wallets. That's, I think, the thing I've been waiting for a decade in this space, is the ability to do all of this within Bitcoin. So this is the way to do it. It's not using loads of data, it's not adding lots of data to nodes. It's using a minimal amount of data to recursively reuse existing assets, existing audio elements, even trimming down, like I've shown you, trimming down to create completely new songs without adding any additional audio to the chain, but just adding a huge amount of reuse and creativity and future earnings for miners at the end of the day if we're distributing music this way. And this is definitely, when we're talking about file sizes of a player that's 150 bytes or less, that's really I think it's going to cause some profound thinking to go on, especially when you look at the idea that each of these songs still encapsulates this DNA royalty, payment rails, if you will, which any royalty regulator, payment regulator, like any performing royalty organization, can use to get an absolute list of all contributing parties, whether it's sample owners, synth players, the composers. All of these people all have the opportunity to, if they want to kind of sign their work into a transaction that remains part of the song, but guarantees that they are always attributed for the work that they did, even if it's reused and re-edited and changed in future songs. It always leads back to the source in this Merkle tree of rights. So yeah, let's have a look at what else we can do here. I thought, I'll write a song in the live stream, and now I'm thinking, I don't know if that's really a good idea, because my songwriting takes a long time and is a bit, I'm not going to be able to handle this clicky kick for a start, so I'm either going to have to go and get really up close and personal with that sample.
Bitcoin.
I thought that was the hat. Hang on, so you've got a clear button here. which in fact, it's got you sort of arm it, because I used to accidentally click that and it would really annoy me because I'd clear a channel I just spent ages putting the wrong triggers onto. But so you press it, it flashes for a bit, but if you don't click it in time, then it disarms itself. But you've just got to click it twice to clear the channel, and it's not working. I've just noticed there. Okay, that's noted. One for the oh dear, that's a bit annoying. Bit of a bug there. Lots of bug checking to get on with over the next few weeks. It's been nice having a bit of time off, but I'm also really looking forward to getting stuck right back into the sequencer here. Certainly ironing out some of these bugs like this. So that's the hats. That's where I wanted to select all of these trigger settings. Maybe a couple of Bitcoins at the end, but really definitely didn't want Bitcoins playing every 1/8 of a bar. So that's more like it. Let's get rid of these buggy Bitcoins. Right, what's this? It's basic. It's basic. Yeah. Sorry, that I can't really handle the pressure. I don't know if I can handle doing this live. But anyway, I think I've shown you enough there. I've sort of gone on about this for quite a long time. So just again to recap, you can press load. This already goes to a few things. I'll show you some of these. The Koto strings is quite nice. Just these other two presets. I've put two other presets in here again that you can just copy and paste into your own. Certainly you can copy and paste the ordinal IDs. These ones I don't think I've trimmed because these are just beautiful samples in their own right of a Koto that someone has put on. These are lovely. I'll play you a couple of these. So yeah, any of these, you could take any of these as well, and we can just take a note. I don't know if there's one that's got more single hits. this one, yeah, that's quite a single note. But just taking single notes, you know, from these original songs, this just straight away just creates possibilities to do cool things, you know. To create completely new songs out of thin air. But with this amazing mechanics built into the back end, which means everyone gets their rightful attribution for whatever they did or whatever was used. I think a lot of the people that put this early music on chain, apart from people who did actually put things like Queen, and there's some really nice songs that have kind of been murdered by lowering the bit rate and putting them on chain. But apart from that, stuff like this, I'm assuming people put on chain, you know, knowing they're putting this into the public domain. But perhaps they had that forward thinking enough to think that, you know, while now they're making this stuff available for anyone to use, there's the possibility that in the future this is exactly the sort of payment rails that could be used to actually ensure that royalties are paid to sample owners, which is something that a lot of money is spent on trying to enforce in the current world. So this is the beginning of a new world where that shouldn't be a problem, and musicians shouldn't need to pay lots of money to attempt to get fair payment for. They should just get attribution guaranteed, which is what we're looking at here. So yeah, there's that one. There's, what's this one? Drums and beats. Have I done anything in here? Might have just set up a beat in here, did I? No. You'd think I'd have done more than that, wouldn't you? I think I just put these in here so that people could just pull beats out. Again, just copy the ordinal ID, copy it into your own project. Oh, wrong button. Oh, this is a song.
There's a revolution going around.
So yeah, all of these on-chain assets already there for you to pull anything out of, guilt-free, sync it into a new song. They can only thank you for it if payments end up coming down the line at some point in the future. So I'd love to see people getting more into this, getting more creative. It's so simple. You know, once you've got a song, once you've created anything, like these things that I've already been showing you.
Yeah, but it was these signs of it.
All of this sort of stuff. All you got to do is hit save. Bang. We've just saved this as a small JSON file, which you can now share with anybody. Obviously, I've loaded this as a preset in the player, in the sequencer, but you can now just, whatever else you've done, you just save that as a JSON. That in itself is private. You can send that JSON, you can put hours of work into creating something like this, reshaping and sculpting a new song out of existing elements, and just send it to your friend so that they can then work on the next few sequencers or the next few instruments and send it back and forth until you've formed a song. That can all be done just as it would be sending logic files. It's private. It's not public until you inscribe it. But once you inscribe it, it's now part of that amazing machine where it's like you've now become the next step in the story of all of these samples, but in a system which is, when it's regulated, is providing the rails to make sure that everyone gets paid. If something that you've done ends up making a lot of money for somebody and it enters into that regulated system where payments should be made to the royalty holders, the rights holders, then this is the way to do it. So this is just the start again, as I've said, and this also, in terms of the 16 channels that we've got here, something else that I'm working on, which will be available in the next few weeks, is what you can actually do is create an audio context, which is this full sequence here. So just this full 4 bars. I can now turn this into a context which can be loaded into a single channel. That single channel will now run and process this sequence into a small audio buffer, which is now triggerable in a single channel. So I can effectively bounce 16 channels down into a single audio context on a single channel, which again, I can always click into that single channel to reopen this full audio context to edit it. But it then means that this 16 channels now turns into a single channel, freeing up all the other 15 channels for new things. So it's going to mean that we can, kind of put a lot, almost infinite channels in. I mean, it's not obviously not infinite, but in terms of bouncing 16 into a single audio buffer, it really does simplify things, because you can continually do this. So even if you do get to a point where processing is becoming an issue, all you really need to do is start using more audio buffers. So processing a mix into an audio buffer before the user hits play. It's a very simple step to add to the process, which then means that rather than having a song that has hundreds or thousands of programmatically assembling parts, it can be converted into any number of divisible audio buffers, which then are a much simpler thing to play, with all the processing happening in the background before the user hears anything. So with that, I think that's all I have for this week. I hope I've been clear enough with how to use it, how to start with a fresh template, how to press load, how to at least load some stuff that you can then click through and resample, move things around, and then most importantly, how you can then hit save and just save wherever you're at. Just keep hitting save. You can always just delete those files afterwards. They're just little JSON files, text files. They mean nothing. But anytime you haven't saved it, hit save. That's just like captured the settings of the sequencer as they are right now. And then when you sit down again later on, and also if the sequencer sort of happens to sort of reload, which it sometimes does, you don't want to lose stuff that way. So it's a good backup to just keep saving. And then when you sit back down again, or if anything happens, just hit load up that text file, and you've got all those 16 sequences back exactly as you left them, ready to keep working on. And then when you really have got something that's special, beyond just sharing with friends, you can then look at the next part of the process, which is then inscribing that, so that you can then distribute it inside a little player, which is a player again that you can design. It doesn't look anything like this because it just allows people to play. We're going to put together an album of this very soon, but it's just something that you can distribute as an album that users can hold in their Bitcoin wallets. They can open it at any point and hit play, and they can listen to songs or albums, anthologies, whatever you like, all within this same 150 byte player, which will have a very low production cost, even with these skyrocketing fees that we're witnessing right now. So yeah, I wish I had another song that I had kind of lined up. Haven't really, I'm just looking now, I did make, see what this beat is like, because I did make a couple of beats which I thought one of those was it. Beats, one of these ones. Beats, let's try that one. No. Anything else? Anything else in there? This one. Nothing. No. Anyway, I really hope that soon enough people will start sending stuff around, and then we can have lots more to play each week with this stuff, because I'm still lacking. This is still the only one I've got. I might as well play this one again to see us out. But thanks a lot. Anything you want to know about it, please join the Discord. There is an Ordinals Discord, which you can find if you follow the Ordinals Twitter, at Audionals on Twitter, or at jim.btc. Find the link to the Discord, jump in the Discord, ask questions. I've got pages there for people to offer any ideas that you think I should upgrades to the sequencer, how it works, questions about how to make songs, how to distribute songs. Please fire them at me, and then, but more than anything, please make some songs. Utilize the tools that I've created here and build some songs which you can initially just share in the Discord, share the JSON files, or even just screen capture a video with audio to show us your creations, and then we can start really getting people using this. Again, it costs nothing to do any of this. It's only if you decide to inscribe it because you want to distribute it, or make your mark on the blockchain in musically. That's where you'll have a cost. But prior to that, this is all just having fun with what exists already on chain. So please get involved. Go to audionals.com and just start playing with the sequencer. Hit the save button, share the JSON files, and let's start building some new music of the future. Web3 songs that can be distributed on Bitcoin. With that, I'll play this one out, and I'll see you next week, I hope. Take care. Bye.
I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting to kind of bring back a culture of actually doing things. It feels like I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that, we have Ordinals that are starting. I definitely see signs of hope now that